All right, lazy ways to learn English. Seriously. Like, learn a new language, but, the easy way. Sounds pretty good to me, but is this actually a thing?
Oh, it's definitely a thing. Like, there's actual research showing this stuff works. You'd be surprised how much our brains are picking up even when we aren't trying.
So we just ditch the textbooks and binge Netflix or something?
It's kind of like that. Think about watching movies and shows.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure you've used subtitles, but did you know they can be a total game changer for learning vocab?
Well, yeah, I've used them for shows in other languages, but, wouldn't I have to be watching something like super advanced for it to help with English?
Not at all. Even something like, I don't know, Friends or The Office.
Really?
It's called dual coding. Seeing and hearing the words at the same time, it like supercharges how your brain remembers.
So it's not just about catching those tricky phrases, it's about reinforcing the words I already know.
Exactly. And because you're caught up in the show, the learning feels easy. No more boring memorization. You're picking up vocabulary naturally.
Right, yeah. But sometimes even watching TV feels like too much work. Is there something even lazier?
Well, what about scrolling through social media?
Hold on, you're saying my endless scrolling could be educational?
Seriously. All those captions, comments, even memes. Research shows that this kind of informal learning can be really effective, especially for everyday language.
But wouldn't I pick up all the bad grammar and slang too?
Well, yeah, that's why you have to be picky about who you follow. Choose accounts that use good English, and remember, social media is just one piece of the puzzle.
Got it. So those meme accounts that use all lowercase and weird spellings are out, huh?
Probably a good idea. Following news outlets, educational pages, or even English-speaking comedians can be a much better way to learn.
Right, yeah, good point. So we've got subtitles and social media. Anything else I can sneak into my day without feeling like I'm actually, studying?
What about changing your phone's language settings to English?
My phone. Seriously, wouldn't they make it impossible to use?
It might feel weird at first, but you get used to it so fast. Think about it, you'll be seeing words like settings, messages, notifications every day, all the time.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's learning without even trying.
I like it. So I can use this idea for other stuff too.
Absolutely. Try writing your shopping lists in English, labeling things around the house.
Oh, I like it. I'm a big fan of lists and labels.
Exactly. You'll be amazed how much you pick up passively.
This is great. Okay, so are there other ways to get that passive exposure? I'm really liking that idea.
Have you thought about listening to podcasts or audiobooks in English?
I've tried podcasts, but I kind of zone out sometimes. How do I make sure I'm actually learning?
It's all about finding something that grabs your attention. What are your interests? Like, what are you passionate about?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I bet there are tons of English podcasts about things you love.
I love, history documentaries and true crime.
See? Tons. And don't worry if you don't understand every single word at first. Just focus on the main ideas.
That makes sense. So, make it enjoyable and fit it into my routine. What about video games?
Oh, yeah. Video games can be super helpful, too.
Great, seriously. My gaming habit could actually be productive.
They're packed with dialogue, instructions, and, all wrapped up in these engaging stories.
That's true. When I'm into a game, I'm laser focused on figuring out what to do next.
Exactly. It's immersive. And there's a game out there for every level, even if you're just starting out.
Right, yeah.
Something like The Sims is great for beginners.
Oh, yeah.
Building virtual lives and interacting with the characters, all in English.
It's like a fun way to practice without the pressure. Okay, what else? This is blowing my mind.
Let's talk about something you might not expect. Memes.
Memes? I love a good meme, but how can they help me with English?
You'd be surprised. Memes often take complex ideas and make them simple and funny, using slang, idioms, and even sarcasm.
Oh, okay, so it's like learning the language of the internet.
Kind of. You get a crash course in how people actually use English online.
I never thought of it that way. What about, those short videos on TikTok and Instagram Reels? Those count, right?
Those are great, too. They give you those quick bursts of language exposure, but you gotta be engaged. Don't just scroll mindlessly.
Oh, okay. So pay attention to the new words and phrases.
Yes. And see if you can figure out their meanings from the context.
Got it. Okay, anything else before we move on?
One more, it's called shadowing.
Shadowing? What's that?
It's pretty simple, actually. You pick some English audio you like, maybe a movie scene or a podcast.
Okay.
Then you repeat the speaker's lines out loud, trying to match their pronunciation and everything.
Oh, so I'm mimicking them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great way to improve your pronunciation and fluency and even your confidence.
Sounds fun, but a bit intimidating, to be honest.
Start small. Short, simple lines at first, and then work your way up.
All right, I'm up for the challenge. I never realized there were so many fun ways to learn English.
It's all about being smart and tapping into the way our brains naturally learn. But we're just getting started.
There's more.
We've got a whole new batch of lazy learning hacks coming up in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive into lazy English learning.
I'm already feeling way less guilty about all my Netflix time, but we're only halfway through.
That's right, we've got more. We've talked about visuals and interactive stuff, but let's not forget music. I bet you already listen to music in English.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But have you thought about it as like an actual learning tool?
Honestly, not really. I'm usually just singing along without thinking about the lyrics.
Well, music can be awesome for pronunciation, rhythm, and your intonation. You're basically learning while jamming out.
Okay, I like the sound of that, but where do I even start? There's so much music out there.
Just start with what you love. What are your favorite artists or genres? Pick songs you really enjoy, pay attention to the words as you sing along, maybe even look up the lyrics online and follow along.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like karaoke with a purpose.
Exactly. And speaking of fun ways to learn, have you ever thought about stand-up comedy?
Stand-up. Does that really count?
Believe it or not, it can be a really effective way to learn. Comedians play with words, timing, their delivery. It's all about using language to make you laugh and think.
So it's not just about the jokes, it's about how they use the language itself, right?
Right. Pay attention to their tone, their emphasis. Even when they pause, you'll start to notice all these little nuances in the language and how it's used for different effects.
I like it. Learning and laughing at the same time. What about something a bit more visual, like I've always been a fan of TED Talks.
TED Talks. Those are perfect for language learners. So many different topics, and the speakers are usually really clear and engaging.
I love how they break down complicated ideas into, like, easy to understand chunks.
Right. And you can often find them with subtitles or transcripts, which can be really helpful.
Awesome. I'm adding TED Talks to my list for sure. What about documentaries? I love a good documentary. Can those be helpful for language learning too?
Totally. Documentaries are great for immersing yourself in real English. You'll hear all sorts of vocabulary, different accents, all while learning something new.
It's like a double win. But I gotta admit, documentaries can be a little slow sometimes. How do I stay focused and actually learn from them?
It's all about picking documentaries that really grab your attention. What are you curious about? Are there any historical figures, scientific discoveries, anything like that that you're interested in?
Ooh, good question. There's a bunch of documentaries on my list about ancient civilizations and space exploration.
Perfect. And don't be afraid to use subtitles or pause and rewind if you need to. The main thing is to enjoy the learning experience.
So finding that balance between fun and educational, I like it. Okay, how about something I already do every day? Watching the news.
The news. Instead of just passively watching, try to really engage with what they're saying. Pay attention to how the anchors pronounce words, their tone of voice. Focus on understanding the key vocabulary.
So it's like shadowing, but with newscasters.
Exactly. And a lot of news channels have transcripts or subtitles too, which can help a ton.
Wow, I never thought of the news as a learning tool before.
It can be. One more idea. Have you ever thought about those language exchange apps?
I've heard of them, but never really tried them out. How do they work?
It's pretty simple. You connect with native English speakers who are trying to learn your language.
Oh, so we help each other out.
Yep. You can practice speaking and writing in English and help them with your language, too. It's great for confidence building and making new friends.
I love that, like a language buddy system.
Exactly. And a lot of these apps have games and even virtual events to make it more fun.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check those out. This is amazing. So many easy and fun ways to learn English without feeling overwhelmed. I feel so much more motivated now.
That's awesome. Remember, the key is to find things you enjoy and make them a part of your everyday life. Make learning feel natural, and you'll be surprised how much progress you make.
Wow, this whole deep dive has been eye-opening. Like, seriously, who knew learning English could be this, well, lazy?
It's about working smarter, not harder, right?
Totally.
We've covered so much already, but I've got a few more lazy learning tricks up my sleeve.
Okay, lay 'em on me, I'm ready.
Let's talk about something classic that often gets overlooked, reading.
Reading. I mean, yeah, it's important, but it can feel like a chore sometimes. How can I make it more fun and, less work?
It's all about finding stuff you actually enjoy. Ditch those boring textbooks and pick up something that sparks your interest. What are you passionate about? What genres do you love?
Oh, good point. I'm a total sucker for a good mystery or a thought-provoking biography, and I love anything about travel and culture.
There you go. Tons of English books, magazines, online articles, just waiting to be discovered. And don't worry about understanding every single word. Just focus on the overall meaning and enjoy the story.
Yeah, I used to get so hung up on looking up every word I didn't know. It totally ruined the flow.
It's all about immersing yourself and letting your brain do the work. Like soaking up the sun, you don't have to overthink it to get a tan.
I love that analogy.
Uh,
Okay, what else you got?
How about journaling?
Journaling in English.
It's a great way to practice writing without any pressure. Write about whatever comes to mind, your thoughts, feelings, anything.
I do love to journal, but won't I just be, like, reinforcing bad habits if I'm not getting any feedback?
The trick is to really pay attention to the grammar and vocab as you're writing. Challenge yourself to use those new words and phrases you're learning.
Oh, right. So it's like taking all that passive learning and making it active.
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable, you can even try out different writing styles. Have fun with it.
I like it. A secret weapon for better writing skills. Okay, anything else before we wrap up?
One last thing, be patient and persistent.
Oh, patience. Not my strongest suit. I get discouraged easily if I don't see results right away.
Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be tough times and times you feel like you're rocking it. Just stay focused on your goals, celebrate those wins, and don't give up on your dream of being fluent.
That's a good reminder. Sometimes I get so caught up in, trying to be perfect that I forget how far I've come.
And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community of English learners out there. Connect with other people, share your experiences, support each other. It makes a huge difference.
I love that. It's so much easier when you know you're not in it alone.
And most importantly, have fun. Enjoy the process, explore different methods, find what works for you. The more you enjoy it, the more likely you'll stick with it.
This has been incredible. I feel like I've totally changed how I think about learning English. Thank you so much for all these amazing tips and insights.
It's been my pleasure. I'm so excited for you to continue on your language learning adventure. Every step you take gets you closer to fluency.
And to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. What are your favorite lazy English learning hacks? Share your tips and experiences in the comments. Until next time, happy learning.